Okay, guys, I think we're ready to get started. Sorry, we were just taking a V-reel, as my esteemed colleagues has it. Welcome to the Drive Productivity and a Data-Driven Culture session. I hope you had an amazing lunch and you're here to now use that brain power to learn about everything that me and Laura are going to go through with you today. Just to introduce you to myself, my name is Mohammed Ali. Yes, I float like a bee, sting like a butterfly, boxer. I am the GPM for Power BI, so I look after the Power BI service and desktop from the product management perspective. And I'm joined by
a lowly senior product manager, actually. I'm Lauren Kramer. I work on the Power BI team as well as product manager, and I own the OneDrive and SharePoint integration experiences, as well as some Copilot features. So if you have any feedback on that, come find me after.
Okay, so before we get started, so the agenda is very simple. I'm going to walk you through all of our integration with M365, which is why you're all hopefully here today. But I want to go to do a round of hands. How many of you guys are using Power BI in your day-to-day? Wow. That's a good amount. Now, I'm going to do an audience call. How many of you are using Excel with Power BI? Okay, less hands. I was expecting that to be just the same number. How about PowerPoint? Who didn't know? Who did not know prior to this that we didn't have an integration with PowerPoint? Okay, there's a couple of hands there, so now we go to PowerPoint. How many of you use it inside Teams? Teams and Power BI. Okay, good level of hands. What about SharePoint? Yes, we still use that technology. What about OneDrive? That's Lawrence feature, you can probably get that. I'm missing one specific Office product. Does anyone know what other Office product we are integrated in deeply today? Sorry? Outlook, yes. Any others? Sorry, I can't hear. That is not enough. That's not M365, but yes, I'll give you that as well. And we're also going to get Power Apps as well. I think someone said Power Apps as well. Word, we are not yet deeply integrated with Word. It's one of the only Office applications we just left behind. Should we be? We should be. I am sure we are. Sorry? Busier? No. We don't hear the certain Office application we do not speak of. That's one of them. If you said Access, I would have also reprimanded you there as well. Okay, so I'm going to walk you through the next 10 minutes to go through just the Power BI strategy, how we think about the overall product. What was the answer? Oh, yeah, sorry. To be continued. No, the answer was Outlook, actually. I won't show the Outlook integration today, but we are actually integrated inside Outlook as well. So someone came prepared or did their homework before coming to the session, or knew or heard me say the session question 5-10 minutes earlier. So well prepared. So my favorite thing to bring up, and I'm not sure if you guys can see this at the back, but I'll hopefully do a better job showing this later on, is we are slowly socially distancing ourselves from our competitors. We are still following the 5-meter rule, the way to keep ourselves away at arm's length from our competitors. Power BI has been in the leader of the Magic Quadrant for I think 9, maybe 10 years now, and we continue to be the leader in the Magic Quadrant. And the best quote that I find that resonates with our strategy is the fact that even Gartner calls us out that we are the best analytics and BI platform on the market because of our deep integration with the Microsoft stack. M365, Power Platform, Microsoft Azure, Fabric. And this is what I think really helps us sell the story of Power BI and what resonates with a lot of our customers as well. And so that's really why you guys are here today, to learn more about that. Now, Arun, earlier on in the keynote, if you guys attended the keynote, presented this lovely picture here. Power BI is deeply integrated inside Fabric as part of the Fabric family. I'm not going to talk too much about Fabric today, but I'm going to bring up the fact that now that Power BI uses OneLake as its data source, and it reads and writes directly to OneLake, it now unlocks so many more scenarios for you that were not possible before, and I'm going to walk you through one of them today as well. Now, the main mission statement, the thing that drives my team specifically, is we want to enable everyone to drive and make better data-driven decisions. That is our aim. That is what we focus on in our product day in, day out, year over year is what we're trying to enable for everyone inside the organization. And so what that really entails is we want to empower every single person on the planet to make better data-driven decisions at any scale. And this is the mission statement. This hasn't changed from when we first launched the product back in July 2015, and will continue being our mission statement until I grow white hair, which is happening, sadly. I'm going to talk about now just the key pillar points. So the strategy really boils down to 3 key things. Empower every individual is the heart of where we really focus on. So this is our creators. These are the people day in, day out, just coming into Power BI to get insights to their data. This is not what we're going to talk about today. What we are going to talk about is once individuals together want to work on BI together, they form a team. And now we want to think about how do we empower every team. And this is what we're going to really focus on today. And the final thing is teams make up organizations. How do IT teams govern and maintain their BI solutions? And again, I'm not going to talk much about this today, but there are many sessions scattered around the Fabric conference today that will go through this in more detail. And then the final plug I'll bring you here is none of this would be possible unless we infuse AI and make people much more productive with their data. And for me, this is a big key pillar piece of like ChatGPT, all those technologies that are emerging. Again, there are separate sessions, and I'll call them out in a moment as well. So then you get this lovely picture called Empower Every Individual, Team, and Organization. Today, we're just going to focus on the team. How do we make you guys better? And what that really translates to is 3 key pillars. How do we enable teams to be more productive? How do we enable teams to drive a better collaboration story? And how do we drive teams to take action on their data? And so we're going to talk about each 3 of these pillars, and we're going to do demos, me and Lauren are. And the first pillar is productivity. Over to you, Lauren.
Thank you, Mo. Appreciate it. Okay, let's get into the productivity space. For those of you who might have come to my session earlier this morning, just pretend that you didn't and be like even more amazed at what I'm about to show you. So like some oohs, some ahs, some wows. That would be nice. All right, so first, we're going to talk about how we are making Power BI more Office-like. And the reason that helps with productivity is because these are tried and true tested tools that we know help people collaborate and be productive to empower those teams together. So what we've done is we've created these Power BI reports to be just like other Office documents. I don't know if you've ever gone on to Office 365 before and tried to search for a Power BI report or file, and you have come up short and been very disappointed. So we have changed that for you. And now in M365, you can search for your Power BI files to make discoverability easier so that you can be more productive and collaborate better with those that you work with.
Ooh.
We have a question.
We can take the question.
Okay, we'll take it.
For that, should they have to be the supplement 365? Did it have to be published this early?
Correct.
Yes.
Or into ODSP, which we'll show you in a second. Yeah, and look, this is meant to be an interactive session. If there's something just slightly you want to get an answer to just right there and then, please raise your hand and we'll try to come to you. Otherwise, we will have a Q&A section at the end as well. So just for everyone.
Awesome. Thank you very much for that question. Next, we have made it easier for you to share. So if you've been in Power BI Desktop or in OneDrive and SharePoint, aka ODSP, the past couple of months, you'll see that we have turned on by default this ability to have this wonderful share button with files that are saved in OneDrive and SharePoint, the same way that you do with other Office products like Word or PowerPoint or Excel. And so with just the click of a button, you can have a report and email that to one of your coworkers or grab a link and share it with someone on Teams to make it super easy for them to be able to see the things that they need to in their reports. So for example, this file is emailed to you and you can click on one button and that report's going to show up in OneDrive and SharePoint or SharePoint. That then allows you to be interactive with the report, to drill deeper, to find more data insights, to share that report yourself with somebody else. This was made available a couple of months ago, but there was a limitation on this, that in order for the report to load in OneDrive and SharePoint, the data had to be in import mode. Coming very, very soon, you will now be able to access reports through OneDrive and SharePoint Viewer with data that is in a live connected model as well. So I saw some claps for that. Very exciting. So we're making it much more accessible for you to be able to get to a larger variety and number of reports so that we can continue to help you be productive.
Lauren, what happened before we did this? What happened to people that before we did the OneDrive integration? What kind of experience did they get before?
Mo, that's a great question. Has anyone out there ever seen an owl before? I know I have, Mo. And before this experience, when you would click on a report that was stored in a OneDrive or SharePoint document library, you would be instructed to download the report. Wah, wah, and open it in Power BI Desktop. So now, not only have we made it so that you can view the file in OneDrive and SharePoint, but we have also added the feature that you can directly open an app the same way that you would an Excel file, a Word file, a PowerPoint report, so that if you see that you need to make edits or changes, you can just very easily open that in Power BI Desktop to make those changes and then save those directly back to where the file is stored. Yeah. So that makes it really convenient if you're working on a file with someone else, and I'm sure you're all familiar with emailing the file back and forth, the PBIX, or trying to send it on Teams. If you use OneDrive and SharePoint, you can upload the file there. You can send it to someone that you're working with. They can open it in Power BI Desktop, make that change, save it back up to OneDrive or SharePoint, and then you're collaborating on that much easier than you were before.
What a time saver.
What a time saver is right. Sorry, I couldn't quite hear that. So that is a great question, and we would love to continue to get that feedback so that I can get some of my managers and bosses to help us fund things like that, because I think that's a fantastic idea.
I don't know who our manager is, but he sounds like a nice guy. There's a question in the room in the middle.
So if you have an Excel file that's connected to a data flow and you set it on a person, it will have them re-authenticate. Will this work the same way? And then it's going to require them to re-authenticate their credentials?
Well, it keeps the credentials of the, yeah. No,
like if you don't have access to the underlying data, you will not be able to, yes. They would not be able to see it. That's correct. Yeah, it's still respecting the same policies that is on the actual data in the report.
So just for those who could not hear, like there's two ways to upload into OneDrive today. Like you can upload a PBX and you just save it into ODSP. When you click on that file, it will then view that PBX as if you published it into the service. We actually behind the scenes for you publish it to the service without you realizing. So it follows all the same principles of service. So if you have row level security, it works. If you have object level security, it works. And so you'll get that same behavior. I think that there was one more hand, but I think it came down just as fast as it came up. Or maybe someone was scratching their back. Okay, let's move on.
Okay. And one of the great things about having this integration with Office is that you can utilize version history. How many of you out there knew that if you are storing your report in OneDrive and SharePoint, you automatically get Office's version history? There are some hands, and I love to see that, but there were a lot of hands that were not up. So I personally love this feature that if you are utilizing our ODSP functionality, you are going to get version history by default. So this means that if you want to go back and see another version of your file and you want to restore it so that you can pick up where you left off on something else, you can do that here, because we all know that we've sent that or saved that file to our desktop that says something like sales report V1, sales report V2, sales report V3, and you can't remember which version was what, and you have a million copies of things. How nice and easy this is that you can just see your version history, you can see who made the edits, when those changes happened, and you can restore back to old versions of that file and pick up where you left off.
Just like Office.
Just like Office.
You'll hear us say that a lot.
Oh, Mo, this slide is blank. I think we might have forgotten to put in...
Did I forget something?
Something here.
What are you showing next?
Well, I wanted to show something in a report, but I could maybe just grab a screenshot of it really quickly and put it in here, because I totally forgot.
Do you want to not just put just use a PowerPoint plugin?
Oh, you mean I could put the Power BI report directly in this PowerPoint?
I know, it sounds amazing. It's too good to be true.
Okay. Let's do that. That's a great idea, because I just totally spaced on this, absolutely forgot. Let's see. So I want to show the audience right now a Power BI report, and I want that data to be able to be refreshable. I know the perfect way to do that. I'm going to go over to Insert.
I hope it's not a report which shows that you want to fund that office idea that someone brought out earlier.
That's a very good point. Absolutely. We cannot have any sensitive data getting out to the people in the audience today. That's a very good point. I think the Wi-Fi is a little bit slow, so, oh, there we go. Okay, so now I see the screen in my PowerPoint that shows me some recommended reports that I can just automatically add into the PowerPoint.
Which one are we adding in here?
Okay, I think the one that I wanted to show everyone was this Italy analysis. Oh, okay, so I'm gonna click on that here, and I'm gonna be able to select a page or a specific visual to insert from this report directly into the slide. Amazing.
And what, like, is it just a picture? What is it like? Are you, how much time are you actually saving here? Although the Wi-Fi is really bad, and I think the time is not being saved. But
regardless, I'm going to be able to update this data and refresh it. So I'm not going to have to go grab a screenshot for a meeting that I have next Friday that I needed something, you know, a placeholder here for. So it's going to be great.
Right. What's the change is that as opposed to what full-blown Git repo?
On the version history, when would you use that capability as opposed to a full-blown Git repo? Great question. I think that it definitely depends on the use case scenario. Version history is really targeting and helping users that maybe might not be as technical and might not know as much about GitHub and how those resources work. And so it's targeted more towards those business users to help empower them.
So when you publish or when you see a report like that, was that in speed?
no, it just uses a pro license. The person viewing just needs to have a pro license. It does not use any capacity.
The question was, when you save your report to OneDrive, does that use your capacity? And currently it does not, because you must have a pro license, an E5 license, or a premium per user license.
Okay.
All right, so this feature is called Storytelling with PowerPoint, and it allows you to put in a Power BI report or visual directly into your PowerPoint, and you can manually refresh the data so that you're not in that screenshot purgatory anymore. When you have, like I mentioned, a meeting with your executives next week, and you get a screenshot, and then by the time you're at the meeting, the numbers are already outdated. So we've made that easier with storytelling in PowerPoint. Yeah. What if you don't want the data to change? That is an incredible question. And wouldn't you know, our storytelling team has thought of that exact thing. Let me show you. All right, so we have introduced a concept called snapshot. So sometimes you don't want your data to refresh, and you want it to stay exactly the same. So what this does is snapshot allows you to put essentially a picture of the data as it is in that state on your PowerPoint, but you still have the ability to refresh manually if you would like. So it is still better than a screenshot. And there are two different ways that you can do this as well. So with the storytelling add-in, you have to have access to the report in order for it to show up in the PowerPoint that you're looking at. However, with Snapshot, we've introduced two different versions. So one of those is if you just do what's right here of not live data, but the snapshot one underneath it, that would mean that that image would only show up for people who have access to the actual report. A public snapshot, however, would give anyone who has access to the actual PowerPoint deck access to the image as well. So there might be a page of your report where you don't necessarily need to give everyone in the meeting access to that report, but you want them to be able to see the data in their PowerPoint, in the PowerPoint as well. And so we have those two options.
The main benefit for the PowerPoint integration is like, I prepare monthly business reviews every month, and I used to go on, get a snippet every month of the latest, and then even an hour before the meeting, I'd have to update it because the numbers improved, and I was like, yeah, let's go and share the latest numbers. I don't need to do that anymore. I can just directly show up in the report. It's fully interactive, so I can slice, dice, filter, whatever I would normally do in Power BI, I can do that directly inside PowerPoint. And everyone with access to the deck can also do the same.
And if you don't have access to the underlying report, this is the image that you will see. So if you're somebody who has a link to the deck, but not access to the report, you do have the ability to request access, but you're not going to be able to see the data that's there.
When you were showing the one that we did EC1, it looked like you changed like deleted one report and made another one longer, is that just inside Elephant, or are you changing them?
Just inside PowerPoint. When you resize or whatever, that's just inside PowerPoint.
That keeps the snapshot area that's live to the data.
It's not changing the underlying report, yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to sum up what that question was and then?
So like in the PowerPoint, when we do the live demo, you can sort of like resizing everything. Like that's only in PowerPoint. I'm not resizing the actual underlying report. So nothing is changing behind the scenes for you.
So video, so the site.
You can also pin a specific visual and bring that in PowerPoint. So if you don't want to bring the whole report and just a single visual, you can also do that. And we couldn't sadly show you the single visual one, but you can do that as well.
So they'll see that, but then they
if they have edit access on the PowerPoint, yes, they can then undo that snapshot. If they don't have edit access, then they can't. It specifically says snapshot, so it'll like warn them. Yeah, it tells you on the bottom, it's a snapshot, yeah.
The demo might be working now. So let's see if we can insert this report. Moment of truth.
You spoke too soon.
I know.
Okay.
Woo, there we go, we did it! Okay, so a couple of other things that I wanted to be able to show you with this live demo is one, let's say that I go in here and I think to myself, you know what I would really, really love right now? I would love if I could get a summary of this data exactly on my slide. Some might call this data insights. With just the click of a button, I can get a summary of what is there in my report for me, and I can paste that directly on the slide next to it. Amazing interactivity for PowerPoint.
AI is taking our jobs, Gabeth. Like that's happening.
Then,
no, so this is a static one. It does not change yet with the data.
and then I know we saw this in the backup demo that we have, but for that snapshot, you would click down here on live data. So again, live data would be the full report, and then we have the snapshot option or the public snapshot. So if I did do that, I'd click on snapshot here, and then that would be that snapshot on the data as well. I'm going to change that back to live data. I'm also going to show that right now, the way that the refreshing on it works is you can come in here and you can hit the refresh button. I also believe that if you put the PowerPoint into full presentation mode, it will refresh it then as well. But let's say that you have something like a tablet or something in a display store where you're putting one of these presentations onto that tablet for different frontline workers to view. And you don't want to come in here and press refresh in the PowerPoint, or you're not going in and out of presentation mode, so it's not refreshing that way either. What could you do in that situation? Well, by golly, I'll tell you, we have it for you. You can come in here to the slideshow settings and you can set it to the automatic refresh in slideshow. The minimum here that you would need to do is 15 seconds, but if you had a report that continually had updating data, let's say that you are in a store that has constant sales and you want your workers to know what the status is of that report, put it into the PowerPoint, set it to the automatic refresh in the slide, and then you will be able to see that. And I'm going to do a very quick example here of that automatic refresh. So here we have 1862. The data refreshed automatically. Wait a second. The data refreshed automatically. It's amazing. The crowd goes wild.
Question. Oh, wait. Okay, wow. Questions.
The auto refresh. I'm wondering right now, all I see is refresh.
So the auto refresh is slowly rolling out. It depends on what ring or office you're in. Question.
Brand new.
If I had the same dashboard 10 different times and each KU PowerPoint,
You can do that, yes. Yeah. If you use the page URL and you had the filter in it, you can then have like different views, different bookmarks.
Could it be targeted in text comment or boxes over? There's a good markup depth chart. Could have the
We are working on a separate feature, which is going to come at some point in the future, which allows you to annotate in the product. That allows you to do that. Today, you can only annotate using PowerPoint. And so you'd have to do it around it, not inside the product.
You wouldn't, I remember when I didn't go inside that box, you go around it.
At the moment, it's around, like it's using the PowerPoint objects, yes. And there was a question there, and I'll come back here. Sorry.
Publish your Power BI report, putting that online to connect our data and methodology.
So that same data insights, when we show you the Copilot session, which is
Thursday at 11 a.m.
we're going to show you how you can get insights in an app, in a report. And I'm going to show you briefly in Teams. So just hold that for.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, there's one more question. Sorry.
PowerPoint the only way you can take auto refresh is that.
You can do auto refresh in the product today. You can do it in the product today. It's just in a PowerPoint, what a lot of, like, I used to work at Domino's, fun fact. And in Domino's, we used to see how many pizzas are getting made at a given time. And we used to have this like billboard that basically showed that. Now I can just put a Power BI report in presentation mode, takes a full screen, and now every 15 seconds it updates and then it refreshes my data. Before, if you went in presentation mode, it effectively behaved in the snapshot mode. It never refreshed the data.
Was your question more about if there's other places besides PowerPoint that you could do something like that?
No, you can do it in Power BI. I'll show it in a moment as well.
Okay, so that's our section on storytelling. The last thing that I want to highlight before I pass it over to Mo is that we also bring data to where people work. If you were in the keynote today or my earlier session, you saw us talk about the auto mobile layout feature that launched today, so absolutely go check that out. But another place that people work is in their SharePoint team sites. So in case some of you don't know, if you're on a SharePoint site, there's actually a SharePoint web part that you can bring in a Power BI report to your SharePoint website and have that report show up so that individuals throughout your company who are going to SharePoint sites can easily access their Power BI reports and information through SharePoint as well. Right now, it has to be reports from the service. I would very much like you to also be able to get reports from OneDrive and SharePoint. So that's another feature that if you want to have a report in OneDrive or SharePoint and then link it here for a ability to show in SharePoint, give us that feedback so that I can talk to the higher ups to get funding for that as well.
Thanks.
Okay, I'm going to turn it over to Mo.
You called onto mic.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I'm going to walk through collaboration and action simultaneously. I know that sounds like a pretty thing. And I'm going to go straight into a live demo.
Risky, as we saw earlier.
Okay, so I'm going to just kneel before my computer. And I am going to go in the service. And I'm just going to walk you through. So every year, we do this thing called the Gartner Bake Off, where all the top vendors for BI compete with each other. This year, I competed with Tableau and other competitors. And the data set that they give us is poverty. So I want you to imagine that you are the Italian government right now. Every one of you in this room works for the Italian parliament. And our goal together is to improve the poverty rates in Italy. You're probably wondering, why am I picking on poverty? Well, that is a great question. So Italy is ranked 5th when it comes to GDP, 3rd when it comes to population, and they're also 3rd when it comes to life expectancy. But when you look at poverty, they are right at the bottom in 44th place. Now you're probably wondering, why is that the case? That is our job to figure out today. If I go to Italy and I go to poverty, you'll see that there's a large divide between the north and the south. And that's the thing we're going to fix today. And if I look specifically in COVID, this situation has not improved. It's actually gotten worse. It's deteriorated. And I want us to figure out what is causing that. So this is the demo that I prepared for the Gartner Bake Off. What you'll see is as you go through this amazing report, you'll see that as you look at like GDP, you'll look at like, I don't know, poor road conditions, you see that depending on how the road conditions are poorer, you'll see that these affect poverty. These all have like correlations with poverty, things that we want to go and do. Now, I want to start off with working with my team. So me and Lauren work in a team together. We want to go and start looking at these insights together. What I'm going to show you now is just how we start enabling teams to work together and contribute and discuss their data and insights together. And that is why we are deeply integrated in Microsoft Teams. And so in Teams, we have many possible integration points. I'm going to show you a couple. I'm going to click on this Power BI app, which you can pinpoint directly into your report. And when you click this, normally it loads supremely fast, but as we know today, the internet is not our friend. Okay, so I have the fully fledged Power BI experience directly inside Teams. I can see all the things that I have access to, some things that I've accessed recently, things that I've favorited, but not only that, Power BI also looks at the social graph, looks at the people I interact with on a day-to-day basis, and recommends me content from them as well directly inside this application. Now, I'm going to head back to my Teams channel where we interact daily, me and my team, and I can directly embed a fully fledged Power BI report directly into my Teams channel. So this is where all my team work day in, day out. They don't need to now go anywhere else. They can now just directly see their reports directly where they work. And we found that that's been the best way to drive a data culture. Now, the other feature that I want to show you is scorecards. Scorecards allows you to create effectively a list of metrics that you want to track your team, a list of OKRs to do that. And in this case, I've got several people from my team who are working in different categories. I've got Emily here who's looking at poverty, and I can see all of the different poverty metrics and how she's driving them to completion. And she's doing a great job. Everyone give a round of applause for Emily.
Good job, Emily.
For doing a great job. Now, Lauren, on the other hand, I'm sorry, Lauren, you're a bit behind here. You're not meeting your end-to-end year goals.
This is how you know it's a demo, because I would never be behind.
So she says. And so I can just easily create my own scorecard. Just want to show you just how easy it is to create a new metric. I'm just going to hit edit mode here, and I'm just going to click on new metric. And I can just give it a name. I'm going to be like, hey, we want to hit our GDP goals. I'm the owner. I can give it a value, or I can link it a value from a report. I'm going to say we're at 1 trillion. And I can just say the status is on track because it's me, Lauren, and of course I'm always on track. And then therefore it's added in. And now I've got myself a new metric that I can now maintain. I can add a target to this, and I can also track it. And if I click on one of these, if I go back to read mode just to show you guys, if I click on one of them, I can get more detailed insights into exactly what's happening. And I can also add a note. So I can track exactly and add check-ins. So I can easily see how my team is doing on a month-to-month basis, and they can provide commentary as well. So that's how we integrate with Teams, but we're going one step further with Teams as well. If I go back to the report, I can also take insights or actions on the top of that data. You'll see that there's this button here that's called Set Alert. For those of you at the back can't quite see, there's a button here on Set Alert. And if I click Set Alert, I can actually directly create an alert on top of a visual. So I'm just going to select a visual here. I'm looking for this data point, and I'm saying when it comes to values higher than 2015, I want to create alert. And the great thing is I can create a Teams notification. I can choose how I want to deliver that notification, and I just click Create New and then create alert here. And that's an easy way just to quickly create insights or alerts on top of data. Now I'm going to head over to Excel, which is everyone's favorite BI tool. Excel is a place where all of our business users tend to work, and people are like die-hard Excel fans. They don't want to leave Excel. Even if you gave them something better, they will still happily, just stay in a tool that's, I would say, subpar to Power BI. But the good thing is that in Power BI, you can easily integrate Power BI directly into Excel, where you still maintain a central source of truth, but you can still enable your Excel users to do what they want. So let me show you how we do that. So if I go to the Data tab and click Get Data, I'm going to go to From Platform, click From Power BI. I'm now going to see a list of data sets that I can access. And this, thanks to the brilliant Wi-Fi that's been brought to us today, just loaded in a couple of seconds. I'm just going to go ahead and find my report, and I'm just going to click Insert Table. And this is the key difference here compared to how we would normally do it. We normally insert a pivot table, and people work on top of pivot tables. Now, I am going to, once this data loads.
While it's loading, Mo, we have a hand up. Yeah, what's your question?
Is there any difference in Power Query?
Is there going to be an integration where you connect Power BI to Power BI data query sets?
So
is what the question was.
The question in the modern day of Fabric doesn't make sense, because now all the Power BI's data sets are written in Delta Parquet. So yes, you can use Power Query to connect to Delta Parquet in this raw format and do whatever you want on it. You can also connect to the semantic model and look at all the measures that someone's put effort into creating. So you'll have best of both worlds, the raw data or not. And so Fabric enables that for you today. You can use that today.
We have another question over here.
You use Power Query in an analysis services, plugging in Power BI URL.
You can do, I would say it's only useful for certain scenarios. if you want to connect to the raw data, doing it that way is not the best practice way of doing it. So the question was, can I not just use the analysis service connector in Power Query? And yes, you can, but it's not for getting access to the raw data. It's not recommended to do that. Okay, so I've got my table here. I've just selected year and I've selected poverty. I'm just going to click on Insert Table. And the Excel people are going to go crazy here because once I authenticate, which I didn't expect, once I authenticate into my tenant, I will now have a fully fledged Excel table directly inside my report. And for the people that love Excel so much, I can also create formulas in Excel on top of this data, and I can also do like rolling sums or, previous minus last or next. And I have this formula that I create in Excel. Now the great thing is as this data updates from Power BI, so will everything else in my table. So I'm now using the best of Excel directly inside Power BI without upsetting my Power BI or my Excel audience. And again, it's a fully fledged working table. I can copy and paste. I can change the color to my favorite color, purple, and I can get all that behavior there as well. There's a question there as well. You can edit the query, yes, but it's not recommended. I didn't quite hear the question, but I think it's once what I did in the demo when I clicked Insert Table, I actually provided the fields. I actually did that while we were just talking, but I'll show it again because it's such an important step. There's a Create Table UI here and it helps you build a table directly in the UI. And I can just select, I want this column, I want that column. I can select the entire table if I was daring enough, but I've got 1,000 columns. I don't think that's necessarily the best thing to do. But you just click Insert Table and it creates that table for you, just that I showed. Oh, I see.
The question was, once you've inserted the table, how do you go back and add another field to that table?
You can edit the query, but I don't think there's a better way to do that. I'm not aware of, but I'll follow up. For whoever came, if you come back at the end, the PM is the engineer is in the room, I can get you the answer to that question. Okay, sorry, there's another hand there, and then I'll come slowly down.
The other question, can you select something on that table and DAX and what can you do this?
So you cannot edit the DAX. In this case, we're creating a special object in Excel called and it behaves just like a normal table. I can use Excel's formula language to now work and manipulate it. But if I want to change the underlying DAX, I have to go back to the original data model, assuming I have access. Again, I wouldn't expect an Excel user to know DAX. To be honest with you, a lot of Power BI users, including myself, don't know DAX. If I create a pivot table, and then I edit the pivot table, I could do that. In this specific example, I can't. This is more for like your business users who are coming into Excel. They don't know what DAX is, they don't even know what Power BI is, but they just want to connect to the data. So this is the use case for this scenario. There's a hand. I'm gonna make my way all the way to the back because I felt bad for the person who's had their hand up for such a long time. Can you scream? So the question was, and I think I heard it, is, the hearing is good here, is will it refresh the data based on when the data set refreshes in this Excel report? The answer is yes. You can enforce and say refresh. There's a refresh all button here that will then refresh it, and then all the formulas will update as well. Hand up here. I thought there's one more hand up. I'll answer yours first. Yes, because you're building new content.
So, big is this, what this training, like, is going to show the data set that the person has access to that.
It shows you data sets you have access to. It does not show you all the data sets. Now, if I now share this with you and you try to open it, you can then request access because I gave it to you. But the UI does not show you things that you don't have access to, and I'm sorry, that was unintentional for me to whack it. Okay, I am also one more question.
This goes back to the access question. So if I were to do this and create a report and it didn't have access to
the data set.
And shared it, then would they be able to see the data?
No, they will get prevented. It will be, it runs as a query. as a table. So you get that security there as well. If the malicious user, or in this case was specifically copied and pasted, and you can unbind it from the data, there's an explicit operation in Excel that allows you to do that. Then you're doing that like a screenshot, for instance. You did that purposely. Yeah? Okay, I'm gonna move forward, and I'm gonna now go away from Excel. Thank you for all the questions. I'm now gonna show you, and I'm gonna go back to my deck. I'm now gonna show you action. So to empower everyone for actions, I want to show you just some of the cool capabilities that we have on offer. So we showed you today, and as part of Fabric, as part of the keynote, you probably saw this thing called Data Activator. Data Activator I showed you in the demo earlier, which allows you to create alerts directly on your data from anything in Fabric. And the great thing is data, I could be in an Excel report and I still have an alert created for me. I could be in a Power BI report. I could be in Fabric. I could be in Lakehouse. I could be in a data warehouse and so forth. So Data Activator is really the glue between helping people create insights on top of data. But there is one more way that a lot of people come to me and say, hey Mo, how do I enable this scenario? And that is from insight to action, how do I do write back? How do I write back to the data source and update values? And the great thing is in Fabric, we've made this journey one step easier, and I'm gonna also share a sneak peek into how we're making this even easier than what I'm gonna show you today. So this is the picture that I want to show you. This is a bit of an eye-catching picture. What it shows is to do write back in Fabric, all you need are two main components. You need to create a data warehouse, and I'm going to show you how I created my data warehouse. And then you need to create a Power Apps that then effectively does the write back. And I'm going to show you just a quick demo of how this works. And the only reason why this works is data is written into OneLake in both scenarios. So I'm effectively updating the Delta Parquet. And I'm going to go into a demo. So I'm going to come to my report, and I've got a report here, if you guys can see at the back, and I'm going to just zoom in, just for those. I've got a report to look at all the things that we're doing to improve poverty within Italy. So we're going to add more doctors, build better transport, add more schools, build more hospitals because I made a mistake here, and build more roads. Now, Lauren is the one assigned to this, and Lauren has not started any of these. She's only got one thing in progress. So Lauren, I think you need to really up your game. Or we haven't done write back and you actually have completed these and we need to update that. So I have a Power App here that allows me to say what the status is. And then if I click on one of them and I click Save Changes, hopefully with this internet connection, this will automatically update. And now because Power BI is in direct lake mode, not in the normal mode, because it's in direct lake mode, once the Parquet file updates, Power BI in about 15 to 30 seconds automatically sees that the file updated and automatically applies the update on the report without me having to touch a thing. And so this normally takes like about 15 to 30 seconds. I'll come back to it, but notice I said build better transport. I think I marked it as completed. Let me just hit that again just in case I didn't do that correctly. And this will take about 15 seconds to come. Let it go forward. Let me click on a couple more and just help Lauren out here. Lauren, let's mark all these as complete for you.
I need all the help I can get.
And I'm not sure if you can see, like just in about 30 seconds, I think, you can see that these are complete. So I've now done a successful write back directly here. So I'm in a Power BI report, I'm seeing an analysis, and I want to just say that, Lauren, you've completed this. I haven't left Power BI. I'm still within the context of Power BI, and now I've marked it as complete. And the way this works is let me just show you how I created this. So first of all, I started off in my data warehouse, and I just built a very simple data warehouse inside Fabric, and just give this a second, and I built a very simple opportunities table. And once this loads, you'll see just how simple it is. So I've just got a list of opportunity IDs. This is important. Got the opportunity names, and I got the statuses and the assignees. So I've got a table here that's basically the living, breathing table for me to share as part of my Power BI report. Now, the great thing is this data warehouse lets me use SQL. So I can use any of the SQL connectors that are available for me. So I went into Power Apps, and I created this really simple form. I create a drop-down list box with just a couple of things like in progress status, and I create a button. And then on this button, if those of you can see at the back here, I'm going to just zoom in here. I say, can you run a Power Automate job for me when I click this button? And can you pass in the value of this? And that's all I did. And in the flow, all I do is, and I'll just show you really quickly, I just do a simple update query on that database table, and just like that, I now have successful write back inside my report. And this may sound like a lot of steps, and you're probably wondering, like, that's still painful. I still need a Power Apps license. Why you made it so painful for me? Well, I have some good news to share for you today. Pretty soon, and I'm just going to go to this slide, that right-hand side will not be required. Power BI will have a better integration point, and let's all celebrate this momentous moment of not requiring a separate license. Microsoft loves licensing, by the way. If you've seen this, we love and will breathe down licensing and make it as convoluted as possible for you to figure out. You need an E5 license, you need a Pro license, you need a Premium license, now you need a Power Apps license. We are removing one big piece of that pain away today. And so I said it's coming soon. You'll see more details about this soon and how we enable this, but the great thing is you'll have full write-back capability directly inside the product. Now I'm gonna go back into my slide mode, and I'm going to show you, like, I showed you the Power App stuff. I had backup slides just in case, I was never sure about the internet connection today, but thank you to John for making it a reality today for this demo. I'm now going to just go to the conclusion. So what we've seen today is, and I'll stand up for this, you've seen that we've enabled the full end-to-end spectrum of enabling users inside the organization, your teams, to really be empowered to be more productive by using the Excel, PowerPoint integration, the Teams integration, allowing them to collaborate on top of data and allowing them to take action or insights on top of data. And for me, like, if you look at our usage of Power BI, a quarter of our users use Power BI outside of Power BI. They never enter into Power BI. And this just shows you just delivering insights where business users work will drive that data culture is what we really want to achieve. And so you get this amazing picture again. I'm happy to take more questions, but I hope you enjoyed just all the things that we've shown you today. And I really appreciate the time that you guys have given us today.